Thank you, everybody, to be here with us in the second conference in a row of Casa México. And now we have the privilege to have Mr. Javier Medrano from Grupo Bimbo, VP of Communications and Marketing, that he will deliver a beautiful talk about brands. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Javier Medrano, we are going to be broadcasting this live in our new social live feed in our site, Casa México. And we have many personalities from Daily News that today did a beautiful article. It's Jerry Smith.
Thank you very much, Pedro. Thank you very much. First, I want to thank Casa México, Pedro, Sergio, for inviting me here to be here, participating in this presentation. It's an honor for us to be here in this important event, for most importantly, in Casa México, our country home, being so far away. As Pedro mentioned, I'm the VP of Marketing for Grupo Bimbo. I'm now in charge of one of our brands in Mexico for cookies and cakes. But I'm going to talk a little bit more on our main brand, Bimbo, who has been in the market for 69 years this year. Next year we're going to be 70, so we are really proud of our company, our brand. But to begin, just let me tell you a brief story about the first day I joined the company, because it has to do with a little bit what I'm going to talk about next. 16th of July, I'm not going to say the year, 30 years ago, 84. It was my first day in the company. And my boss at that time, the marketing manager, took me to our main production facility. At that time, we were organized by production facilities. To the monthly top management meeting. And that day, everybody was really happy because it was the first day we were going to export gancitos. Gancitos, a shortcake cake with cream and with jelly and chocolate covered, delicious cake. We grew up from almost 65 years is the brand. So that day, a huge trailer was sent to the U.S. We waved our flags. We make a lot of noises. So that was the first day the company started its journey to be an international company. Sadly, 2 weeks later, we found out that the trailer didn't arrive to the U.S. because it was stopping the border because of things that happen when you're trying to sell something in the U.S. at that time. But as I mentioned, at that day, our international journey started. So that's a little bit of what we're going to talk today about, how we've been increasing the value of our main brand, Bimbo. So I want to share with you this phrase from our owner, 95-year-old Lorenzo Servitje, who says that to achieve the unthinkable, the unimaginable, what some people call the impossible, it's necessary to have a clear objective. And definitely goals, confidence, but especially determination to reach them. When we asked him if he imagined that our company is going to be the largest baker in the world at these days, he said, I think of that, I thought of that, but I never imagined it would be possible. But with determination, with passion, with clear objectives, we did it. So that's our company. I told you before, we are 69 years old this year. We have a presence with the last acquisition we made last year. We're now in 22 countries around the world, mostly all the Americas, from Canada to Argentina and Chile, Europe, and as well as China. That's something like a motto in the company, no? In Grupo Bimbo, we believe, and by believing, we create. So that's the way we operate every day. So today, what I can tell you about our company is we have many brands around the world. These are some of the most important brands. Bimbo, of course, being the flag brand of the company, the most important one, the biggest one. But as well, some brands from Brazil, the US. The ones on the bottom are from Canada, our recent acquisition. And fortunately for us, the work our marketing teams have been doing over the years have paid back enormously. Cantor World Panel, who's a company for sure you know, has recently presented the brand footprint global ranking for 2013. And this year we were ranked number 20 globally. And specifically for Mexico, we're number 3, the number 3 brand, just behind Coca-Cola and Lala, is a dairy brand, very important in Mexico. Just to sum up a little bit of what we are now, Grupo Bimbo is the largest bakery company in the world. We have presence in, as I mentioned, 22 countries across three continents. We have over 100 umbrella brands and more than 10,000 SKUs. We're about to be 13,000 products, and we've been growing, both installing our own facilities, but also making strategic acquisitions across the globe. And one thing that is important for us is the distribution system. We have 50,000 direct sales routes owned by the company, and daily, almost daily, we serve almost 2 million point of sales all across the globe. But what we've been working in the past, let's say, 20 years, that our international journey when really got traction, was going from a local brand to a global one. First, just to say that as the company was growing in different countries, we set a specific marketing team in each country, and we operate more like a decentralized company. So although we have a corporate office, it's more like guidelines, way of working, but not necessarily the strategy across the globe. So that has benefits, flexibility, agility, but sometimes some challenges of how to really become a global brand. So I'm going to show 3 examples of what we are doing to really achieve that, maintaining our decentralized model and agility to work. First, I will say that the logo has been evolved over the years, just to keep up with the change that our consumer has been evolved. This is the first logo the brand has 69 years ago. And since the beginning, the company has a mascot, a little bear who represents the company, a baker bear. So that was the one who was launched in 1947, then it changed in the 80s. And go ahead. No? Then we started to using color, and then we started to also making 3D character. So if you can see, the mascot has evolved over the years, catching up with our consumer preferences and tendencies. So that's something that has kept the brand present all these years. Specifically, what we believe in is to construct a global brand through its identity. It's not necessarily to have a central strategy, but also is more related to how keep the identity of the brand standard in all the markets, but also taking advantage of the flavor, the local taste of our consumers, giving this local taste. Because most of the people think the Bimbo brand is their local one. Normally they don't say, of course, it's a Mexican brand or it's an American brand. They say Mexico is Mexican, in Argentina it's Argentinian, in Chile it's Chilean. So that's also important for us, because it makes the brand for consumers really present, really close. So by using this kind of models is not new. I think every marketing department believes in that. Is the brand has to be in the center of the strategy. And all the media we use, all the contact points we have, has to really construct this identity. And building up a little bit more on strategy, what we think is, if we keep the visual identity of the brand, if we keep the same personality of the mascot, all constant all across our countries, it doesn't matter if we have a more family-oriented brand here, and probably a little bit more younger-oriented in other countries. At the end, the brand remains the same for everyone. So that's what we believe in, and that's the way we are trying to operate our brand all across our markets. No? So that's something we have to have a vision, then give meaning to the brand, make it authentic, differentiate it in each market, but at the same time have the flexibility to adapt to the tendencies. And at the end, what we're expecting is to grow the value of the brand across all our markets. What I have mentioned a couple of times now, every time we enter a new market, we try to understand what are the taste, what are the things that people like, and try to flavor our brand a little bit around that. But at the same time, keeping the main personality of the brand as strong as possible. And by that, we developed this let's say positioning model. It's supposed to be ear of wheat. I don't know if no, you say, because our main ingredient, bread, is made of wheat. So we build our brand positioning through that. And first of all, it's built like a brand context. We need to give the brand a context, a broader concept enough to capture all the local flavor in the different markets. So this context is where the biggest market company in the world. We're expert bakers, so we know how to bake bread all along the countries. Then we have a primary target segment, families, but in Mexico, families from 70 years ago, but in the recent markets, it's families for today, families that are starting over with their kids or just recently married. So at the end is how to capture families for a brand. The insight is the brand I have been growing, or is the brand I'm growing with? So we believe that our brand has to be in markets many years. So at the end, people has to recognize and identify with the brand as the one they are growing up. Main attributes for our brand: every market we enter is freshness, quality, softness. Obviously healthy in these new trends. It's always nutrition, but especially is available everywhere. That's one of our strengths, and we keep that in every market we enter. And also the personality, as I mentioned, is important. The brand is a character, is a bread, is kind, is tender, is close, is my friend if I'm a kid. Is my let's say my coach for cooking if I'm the housewife. So at the end it has some relationship with every member of the family. And most important, the essence of the brand. What we want the brand to represent everywhere. And so Bimbo is part of my life, and it nourishes my family. You know? That's the essence that we want to embed in all our consumers. So at the end, this is the essence of the brand positioning of our brand, and that's a framework. That's a framework that every country has, and depending on the local customs and the things are more important for local customers, they adapt a little bit on that. But the idea is to have this framework as a main reference. So I'm going to share with you a little bit of data and then 3 examples of how this model works. So our top brands, 3 of them represent almost 80% of our revenues. Bimbo being the largest one. Marinela, who I'm currently in charge of, is the second one. And Autoweight Brownberry Arnold is the same brand, the same product, different brand across the US, but it's the same at the end. There are over $3 billion each one. Then we've got 4 $500 million brands, Barcel, which is snacks, salty snacks, and other ones, especially in the US. And then we have 16 brands over $100 million. That's our main portfolio. 80% of our sales are here in these 23 brands. But as I mentioned, Bimbo. For many years, we have been selling Bimbo in the U.S., but mostly addressed to Hispanic people, Mexicans that are coming to the U.S. to work, and now we have a 3rd or 4th generations there, Mexicans that grew up with our brand and love our brand, but it was mainly in the high Hispanic cities. But we decided that Bimbo has to be, being the flag brand of the company, has to be a nationwide brand for the US. But we have a main challenge: the meaning of the brand. The brand without a context. If you say an American Bimbo, I say Bimbo. Well, it's a let's say a happy girl. No, it's a happy girl. A girl who likes to party or whatever. No. I remember one colleague, it was like an event like that, like this, kind of, and somebody asked, "What's your company?" "I work for Bimbo." I say, "It's an escort. It's an escort service." No, it's an escort service. It's a bread company, no. So that was a huge challenge for us. So what we did, after many years of trying to convince our American colleagues to do so, we conducted a huge study in the U.S. trying to understand what was behind the Bimbo brand. So mainly we did it in 6 markets, not just Hispanic ones, but also heavily Anglo markets, to understand what the brand meant for them, what was the reaction to that. No? So at the beginning, the study said what we already knew. Bimbo is a word that is funny, represents something it's not necessarily associated with food. But one important thing we learned from that: as soon as you relate the name of the brand with the character, with the little bear, the perception changes dramatically. Because they say they see the bear with the loaf of bread under the arm, and they instantly connect with all the values we're trying to communicate to the brand. They say, "Oh, the bird is tender. I think he bakes bread because he has the loaf of bread." But that's what the brand means. No? So at the end, that made us decided that it was a really good option to have the brand nationwide. And first thing our marketing team in the U.S. had to do is, the Bimbo brand has to, or the brand name has to be pronounced a little bit different of what the American people normally pronounce Bimbo. Bimbo is like with a long O, the Bimbo girl. No? In this case, we taught American people to say Bimbo with like a long E, so to stress Bimbo instead of Bimbo. No? So that was also important because they understand that it was a different word. No? And I'm going to show you. That's what I'm saying. No, we have to go. Another funny thing was when we soccer for us is a really important way to communicate our brand. So 3 years ago, I think, we started sponsoring the Philadelphia Union, an expansion team in the U.S. And we decided to like our offices, our main offices are in Philadelphia. We decided to sponsor that team. And the first day, the T-shirt, the shirt was launched to the market. A lot of people started like complaining a little bit in the Facebook page of the team, and there was one I remember. I said, "I won't allow my daughter to wear that T-shirt because it said Bimbo on the front. No, I'm not going to allow it." But as soon as we started working with the Bear. And fortunately for us, that was the best year of that team. They made it to semifinals, so it was a huge event in the U.S. Everybody forgot about it. So, learnings is we need to understand what's behind the brand, what really represents for the consumers. In that case, teaching our consumers how to pronounce the brand and what it means for us in terms of values, in terms of quality. Freshness, it's a whole different meaning. So our main campaign is this one. I don't know if we have a little bit of audio, but at the end, if we're gonna run it again, that's the commercial for the brand launching, and as you're gonna see, we introduce the bear, we introduce the bread, but also how to pronounce the brand.
That's what Bimbo brand is made of. Isn't it nice to know? Slice by slice, that something nutritious can be so delicious too.
So at the end, say Bimbo, no Bimbo, no, say Bimbo. So now it's a brand that is constantly growing in the U.S. It's now a national one. It's started to coming up in our chart. So it's really good. And although we have a slightly different packages from Mexico, at the end we keep the same bread, the logo, the color code for white bread, wheat bread, and the specialities. So it was a very, very interesting case on how to make our brand relevant in a country that the brand probably wouldn't work as we expected. Yeah? That's a little bit more of information about it. It was really positive, pronounced Bimbo, quality ingredients, nutritional value. That's what I've been saying so far. And also we did some out-of-home advertising. So again, to present the brand, that one. Although this is animated, in fact, it was like that. and the main issue was say Bimbo, right? How to pronounce it. Although the logo is with an I, we say pronounce it like if it was double E. Okay? Well, that's one case. The other one, China. Whole different market, whole different meaning for the people, and also very, very interesting. Because normally brands tend to do two things. Just to identify which Chinese characters sound like the brand, no? And by saying in Chinese would almost pronounce the same way the brand, but not necessarily a meaning behind. Other companies like Coca-Cola, for instance, have tried to get those characters in a kind of same pronunciation but with a meaning. So if I'm pronouncing it correct, Coca-Cola in Chinese is Coca-Luao. Something like that, Coca-Cola, alguna cosa, something like that. It seems Coca-Cola, but at the end it means something like happiness in your life or something like that. So for them it was more important the meaning than the sound of the brand. And we tried to do the same. So at the end, again, we started to study a little bit on consumers on China. We did some focus groups, some research around it, and that was the main challenge, to understand the culture and try to see the best way to introduce our brand to the market. So first, we understand that our packages normally are especially for the white bread, have a lot of white color in the wrapping. And for Chinese people, white is a color representing death, mourn. So if you see a lot of white, it is not necessarily good for them. So we had to change a little bit the color code to really connect with them in that regard. Other thing we had to do is try to identify a couple of characters that sounded like our brand and had meaning. So we think that those characters at the end says fresh bread on the table. But not necessarily. It also depends on the dialect, because China has a lot of pronunciation and a lot of dialects. But at the end means kind of bread on the table. Also something like Asian guy crossing the river. So is a respected person in China. So it's something I would like to relate to. No? And well, a brand in China is pronounced Bimbao. It's a Bimbao, ours Bimbo, so close enough, and kind of a meaning behind the say. I know the other one is the castle guest, the guy who is invited to our home. No, so some of our values are reflected there. So that's the way we represent our brand, and we associate it. If you give another one, please. That's it, Bimbao. That's the way we pronounce it in China. If you see in the left top corner, that's the way we present our brand. Bimbo in our normal characters, and the two Chinese characters on each side. So people would say Bimbao. Yeah? And this is the a commercial for the launching in China. Well, I think it's not the original audio. No, it is. Yes, it is. So again, family, quality, freshness. So at the end, the same values for the brand in a Chinese context. Finally, a different one. This is previous. Let's say the order is this one, then the U.S. and then China. But that was another interesting case we work with. When we entered the Chilean market in the early 90s. There was another brand in the market already with our brand, Bimbo. So we don't own the Bimbo brand in Chile, unfortunately. One day we will, but not now. So the way we did it is we acquired a company there, a really recognized brand, Ideal. So that's the way we enter in the market. So at the end, what we decided was to give this brand the same identity of the Bimbo brand. So nowadays, Chileans, although they say Ideal, they know that the real brand is Bimbo. And sometimes they say Bimbo, although the packaging says Ideal. So that's the way we introduce our brand in Chile. We incorporate the bear in the logo. We have the same packaging, the color code, and that also led us to have a really good penetration on that market. Similar case was in Brazil, for instance. We have two strong brands there, Pullman in Sao Paulo, Plus Vita in Rio. They're really strong brands with a huge heritage like Bimbo in Mexico. And although we have the Bimbo brand in Brazil, we decided to keep those brands because we also believe in the value of the brand. And if Pullman and Plus Vita represent the same values for them in Brazil, we're not going to change that. So what we have done in Brazil is the same. Now Pullman is in the same logo as Bimbo, the same color code, the same type of characters, and also Plus Vita. And we did it like in three different packaging changes. We changed the color of the letters, then we put the little waves to capture the brand, and then we incorporated the little bear. So finally, what we learn of all these processes, let's say our key messages for us. Defining brand position is fundamental to determine its graphic identity. So if you know what your brand represents, or if you clearly define what you want your brand to represent, then put it in an image. Give graphic support to that. In our case, the color code and the bear always incorporated to the brand. If you have seen along the presentation, we have two ways of presenting the brand. This one is Bimbo with the bear on top of the brand. But if we have the character, let's say full body, we don't put the little bear on top of the brand because it would double the presence of the character. No? So at the end, there has to be only one bear present with the brand at the same time. Another learning, making a brand global is also important. Well, if you're a centralized company with the strategy and having a single marketing team, but in our case, that we believe more in flexibility, agility, velocity, speed to market. What we have relied more is on graphic essence, as I've been telling, color code or brand character, and especially the essence of the brand. And also, very important, cultural issues, legal, all the trends, all what is happening, socially happening in the countries. You have to take it in account to build this positioning in that specific region, but always being inside this strategic framework that we have constructed with the brand positioning. And finally, I think it's the last message I would like to leave you with is, at the end, is the consumer who gives the global brand positioning to the brand. It's not that our company is saying, hey, my brand is global, but the consumer seeing consistently executed the brand in his market or in social media or in any contact point he or she has, seeing the brand consistently is what the consumer says, this is a really, truly global brand. So I just want to close with our mission statement. We strongly believe in that we are here in this company to nourish, delight, and serve our world. Nourish with our brands like Bimbo, delight with the brands like cookies and pastries, and serving, meaning delivering all the products to all the sales point of sales, so families can have it on the table every day during their entire day. Thank you very much for your attention.
Javier, thank you very much for your excellent talk. It's a fantastic company that started only so many years ago and now is the leading bread manufacturer in the world, and it keeps expanding and expanding and expanding. I don't know if anybody has any questions or anything that they would like to ask Javier.
Hi, I would like to ask you, since this is like a food product, like when you enter to different markets, are you adapting the product, or are you keeping the same recipe for all the markets?
It's a very good. Yeah. No. It's a really good question, because it's normally a matter that we're struggling with, because in some countries they like bread a little bit, let's say, browner, say, or golden. In others they don't. But at the end, we believe that bread has to be fresh, has to be soft, has to be high quality. So at the end, Bimbo is representing that, and every market we have Bimbo is the same recipe, is the same product. Probably sometimes we have other brands giving local taste, no? And there are local brands, but the Bimbo brand is the same, it represents the same. At the end, consumers like it and get used to it. Thank you for your question.